Aaron, if you would stay with us because we have more breaking news out of the White House this morning.
We do, Jose. We are just learning. Our team has been able to track down that there's a possibility, according to a source, that President-elect Trump's swearing-in ceremony is going to be moved indoors. The language we got is likely moving indoors. Of course, the ceremony set for Monday, late Monday morning into the afternoon. You're seeing some of the images of the U.S. Capitol already set up for what is typically an outdoor ceremony. The harsh reality, though, here in Washington is that on Monday, we're expecting a high temperature, feels like temperature of 10 degrees. It is going to be bitterly cold here on Monday. Add to that the fact that we are anticipating anywhere between 1 and 4 inches of snow on Sunday. This clearly seems to be something that's coming in reaction to the weather that's anticipated here in Washington. Now, it's not unheard of for a presidential swearing in to be moved indoors. That happened during President Reagan's time. And there have been other instances throughout history where the ceremony has been moved indoors, whether it's at the Capitol or at the White House. And so it's not totally unheard of. And it seems that as though at this point, because there's concern about having so many people outside on the west front of the U.S. Capitol for the ceremony in really harsh weather conditions, that there is a likelihood that the ceremony will be moved indoors. Now, there are several other elements of the inauguration day, of course. There is the presidential motorcade down Pennsylvania Avenue from the Capitol to the White House. There is the parade that typically follows. We don't have any indication at this point about whether there are changes anticipated for that. Washington, D.C. has been effectively locked down for these inaugural events. You're looking at some of the images of the fencing that's gone up in so many places in the federal section of Washington, D.C., and that is to facilitate secure entry points for members of the public who want to come and see the inaugural ceremony, who want to come and see the parade as well. And so at this point, we don't know whether any of that will be changing or how it might change if there's a decision made. And so we are out to official sources to try to nail down, Jose, what exactly the plan might be as these changes seem to be coming into place, that the ceremony, the swearing-in ceremony is going to be moved inside.
Sorry about that interruption, Aaron. So it's so far, the understanding is that they're considering bringing just the ceremony part inside, but we still don't have any confirmation or any real information on the folks that are expected to be there, all close to the Capitol Hill.
Right, you're absolutely right. The expectation is that there would be thousands of people participating in the parade that typically follows the swearing-in ceremony. And, of course, there are people who come from all over the country to bear witness to the inauguration of American presidents. That's a regular thing. And so at this point, we don't have any indication that there are going to be changes made to how the public engages with the ceremony that's going to be happening. If memory serves, when I was on the National Mall for former President Obama's first inauguration, it was just insanely cold outside, and you saw people.
It was.
You remember it was, and I think
yeah,
that was one of the coldest.
19 degrees.
Yeah,
I think it was.
One of the only sub-freezing inaugurations, and obviously people packed into the National Mall. The ceremony happened on the West Front, but it seems as though there's some concern that we're reaching a point where it's going to be dangerously cold here in Washington, and there might be some changes that are made, Jose.